this video lesson. My name is Teacher Glad, and for this week's topic, we are going to explore the different factors that affect climate. People often use weather and climate interchangeably, but did you know that weather and climate are different from each other? If you are pertaining to the sunny day, windy day, cloudy day, rainy day, and stormy day, you are referring to the weather. The weather refers to the short-term changes in the atmosphere, while climate refers to atmospheric changes over longer periods of time, usually 30 years or more. Let us start with defining weather. Weather is a condition of the atmosphere at a specific place and time. So these are the different types of weather: cloudy day, sunny day, windy day, rainy day, and stormy day. What are the different factors affecting weather? The first factor that affects weather is temperature. It is the degrees of hotness and coldness of a place, and it can be measured using a thermometer. So these are the different types of thermometer that we can use to measure the temperature. The second factor is the wind. Wind refers to the movement of air in the atmosphere. Air is different from wind. When we say air, it is the mixture of gases in the atmosphere, while wind is pertaining to the movement of air in the atmosphere. We can measure wind using two instruments. The first one is wind vane and the second one is anemometer. If you want to know the direction of the wind, you can use wind vane. So it has the four cardinal directions: the north, south, west, and east. And if you are going to know the speed of the wind, you are going to use the anemometer. The third factor that affects climate is air pressure. It is the force caused by the weight of air in the Earth's surface, and it can be measured using a barometer. This is what a barometer looks like. The next factor is humidity. It is the amount of water vapor in the air, and it can be measured using hygrometer. Next is precipitation. It is the water falling from the atmosphere in the forms of rain, snow, or hail. So precipitation doesn't necessarily mean rain. It can also be pertaining to the snow or hail. So let's review the different factors affecting weather. We have temperature, wind, air pressure, humidity, and precipitation. And now, let's define climate. Climate is the average weather in a given area over a longer period of time. The first factor that affects climate is latitude. If you can still remember when you are in grade 7, you have discussed latitude and longitude in the topic locating places on Earth. So if you can still remember, latitude lines start at the equator at 0 degrees and run east and west. And all the lines of latitude are called parallels of latitude. How does latitude affect the climate? If you are going to observe this illustration, the Earth is tilted at 23.5 degrees. At 0-degree latitude, or at the equator, the sunlight strikes most directly. Therefore, the places or country that are near the equator is receiving most of the sunlight. That is why Philippines is considered as a tropical country. And as you can observe, as the latitude increases, temperature decreases, which makes the two poles, north and south poles, experience a cold climate. Next is longitude. Longitude has no effect on climate. The positions of the continents and oceans can be described by longitude, and these do have an effect. Owing to the Coriolis effect, air movement at the Earth's surface normally has either a westward or eastward component to it. This means that it is crossing lines of longitude. So let's have a review. How latitudes affect climate? Answer: as latitude increases, temperature decreases, which means countries near the North and South Poles experience cold climate, while countries near the equator experience warm climate. These are some of my pictures when I have my Sagada trip and Baguio trip. Why did I show these pictures? It is because it has something to do with the next factor that affects climate, and this is altitude. Altitude, like elevation, is the distance above sea level. Areas are often considered high altitude if they reach at least 2,400 meters or 8,000 feet into the atmosphere. And as the altitude increases, temperature decreases. The most high altitude point on Earth is Mount Everest, in the Himalayan mountain range on the border of Nepal and the Chinese region of Tibet. The next factor that affects climate is the body of water. Large bodies of water can affect the climate of coastal areas by absorbing or giving off heat. Washington and North Dakota sit at similar latitudes, but one of these two cities enjoys a more moderate climate than the other. Winters in North Dakota are much colder, and both temperature and precipitation vary to greater extremes between summer and winter. Among other reasons, Washington enjoys a more moderate climate because Washington lies on the coast, and like other large bodies of water, oceans tend to have a moderating effect on the climate of a coastal region. Land heats and cools faster than the sea. That is why coastal areas have lower temperatures than inland areas, and places that are far from the bodies of water have extreme climates. Next factor is topography. Topography affects the climate in that it influences wind patterns and weather patterns. For example, mountains block cold air from flowing over the warm ground below them, which results in warmer temperatures on one side of the mountain range than on the other side. Mountains and mountain ranges can cast a rain shadow. As winds rise up the windward side of a mountain range, the air cools and precipitation falls. On the other side of the range, the leeward side, the air is dry and it sinks. So, there is a very little precipitation on the leeward side of a mountain range. The last factor that affects climate is the ocean current. If the ocean current is warm, it would make the area much warmer and livable for a long period of time, causing the climate to change. Ocean currents that brings cold water to inland make the climate cold, while ocean currents that take along warm water to coastal areas make the climate warm. And that concludes today's lesson. I hope you find it informative and helpful in your learning journey. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more great content. And if you have any questions or feedback, please leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.